Hello and welcome to WhatKeepsYouAwake.tv. It's time again to dive into the hustles, the hurdles, and the highs that keep small business leaders up at night. I'm your host, David Hooser, and I'm once again excited to welcome my wife, Trang Hooser. Trang, as we mentioned before, runs a successful real estate business based in Las Vegas. She's been running this business for 8 years now. And she actually is in the real estate business. So many people I know get a license. Sometimes they get a license for a strategic reason. They want to buy some stuff themselves. Most times they think, oh, it's easy to be a real estate agent. It's easy to be in the real estate business. Actually, Trang is even looking now at getting her brokerage license. So that's maybe a next step for her. But I wanted to talk a little bit, if you don't mind, Trang, welcome back,
Sure. Hi.
about the market. Because, I'm a, backseat driver when it comes to your
You
business.
said it, not me.
I love to tell you what's going to happen in the market. And I love to tell you how expert I am because I've bought my own home and sold my own home a few times. But I really, have to look at this thing differently from the standpoint of what's the market really going to do? What are the pressures out there? What's the market going to be like next year in 2026? What's the market going to be like? What are the things that are happening now in the market? And so you're in it every day. So let's take a few minutes and talk about, start big with what's happening in real estate in general, and then let's kind of drive into some markets. And I think, you operate in Las Vegas, but you know a lot about LA because you deal with buyers or sellers that are over there coming to Vegas. Same in Arizona. Maybe you refer buyers or sellers here. So let's talk about the market. What's going on in the real estate market and the housing market today?
So I think I think a lot of us noticed lately that interest rate has dropping a little bit.
Shifted a little down.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so what that shifted the, seller buyer market, if you will. So we were in a strong seller's market, but today, we are leaning towards buyer's market. And
Okay.
I think if interest rate keep, getting lower, buyer's market will become stronger.
So you think more people will be interested or able to qualify to buy a home?
Well, what that means is that, when interest rates are a little higher, buyers tend to, be on the fence about buying. There's a misconception where, people do think that high interest rate, I'll just wait because then I'll buy it with a cheaper rate. Well, in the industry of real estate, I explain this a lot with my clients. Even though you're savvy, you bought your home 2-3 times before. And it's not something on top of mind that you think about.
Right.
The math makes sense. Well, why would I pay for high interest rate? I'll just wait, right? But if you wait, the interest rate goes down. That means housing
Prices
will
go up.
Housing price will go up. And in a healthy market, that's how it should be. They go in the opposite direction. Over the last year or two, we've been having a market where interest rates has been high and housing pricing also high.
Went up a little bit.
So we were we have been in an unhealthy market, if you will.
Right.
And so if people are, if someone asks me, should I buy today or should I wait? Okay, then I would say, well, what is your reason for buying?
Why are you buying? Okay.
Well, I'm buying because I don't want to live here anymore. I want to go to the neighborhood. Better school for my kids, right?
Okay.
I'm downsizing.
But I'm going to live in that home, so it's
Right.
not.
So depending on your reasoning, right?
Right.
And then as far as, well, what about the rate? Should I buy now because of the rate? Then I say, well, marry the house and date the rate.
Okay.
You buy the house that you
Rates
love.
will change.
Rate change. When it goes down, you refinance, spend a few $1,000s, and get a different loan with a different rate. But then you get to capture the house you want. Now, when you wait, everybody, all the good house, all the lovely homes, lovely
Right.
neighborhood are gone.
So if the market rates adjust a bit down, people are going to get excited. So they may kind of keep their foot on the gas pedal, but not press it hard.
Right.
But if it accelerates down another half point to full point, all of a sudden now my foot's on that gas. It was already there, it just wasn't.
And guess what?
Hard.
When everybody's pressing on the gas at the same time, race to the line, right?
Okay.
So now we got bidding wars.
So now you're saying because of what's happening in the market, it's kind of a buyer's market. So there's properties you could fall in love with.
That way. Yeah.
You could really want to live in. Versus, we started looking in Las Vegas, and every time we saw a house that would meet our standards,
that's right.
There were 5 offers on it. So then we looked at houses that were way below our standards, and we're even considering it. Fortunately, we didn't. We waited. But so the problem in the market that we just left was you would have to compromise. The benefit of today's market, if you're buying, is you can find a home that you want to buy. Whether you can afford it's a whole nother question.
Right.
We're just talking about the quality of the home available today is much greater than in the market that we transitioned out of, over the last couple of years.
Yes, and there's a stigma about this situation is that the home has been listed higher priced because we had that market.
Right.
So mindset has not shifted yet. The market shifted.
Okay.
But buyers and seller mindset has not shifted yet. So sellers still want to list them, their home high, right? And so what happened is buyer comes in now and said, I want 100,000 less than what you want to sell.
Right.
Market shift, they say on the news, right? We all know it. So I'm not paying you that.
Days on market's going up by, 10,
inventories,
5
increasing.
to 10 days.
And so then, buyers sat on the market for a while. Now they have to sell.
Right.
It's no longer they want to sell. Now they have to sell, right? Because the longer you're in the market, it's going to cost you money to carry that house.
If
it's
you're not
empty.
living in it, right?
Right. And then if you're living in it, then your dream home is that much further away right now,
right?
With the market shifting. And so that's why buyers think that, I'm going to come in now and just low ball. It's not so much that you're getting a discount as a buyer. You're just getting the right market price is all.
The market's changed.
Right.
And so your house price
right.
has to change a little bit. Now, towards that end, you're offering, I've seen a lot of your marketing lately, cash offer for a home, which is a market price cash offer.
Yes.
So
I'm very excited about, my marketing campaign, the cash offer marketing campaign that I'm doing. It is targeted to help empty nester, downsizing. So in today's society, we have a lot of empty nesters that are still living in a larger home.
Where
kids
they
move
had 3
out,
or 4 kids living before. And
raise their family. And then, now just husband and wife. And they in their, baby boomer years. So, maybe one spouse not doing so well health-wise. And, becoming a burden.
Keep up this big house.
Of the upkeeping of the house, the 2 stories. And then they have money in it because, over the years homes, have gone up. So they gain quite a bit of equity.
They have equity. Okay.
Right. And then if market, take a turn, guess what happened to those equity? They evaporates, right? And so, empty nester are looking to sell, but they are struggling.
Sure.
With the fact that I live here for 20 years. I raised my kids here. We have 3-car garage stuff, and most of them is not ours. The kids want to keep it. I keep the memories.
Right.
But when I go to sell and squeeze a 5-bedroom home into a 3-bedroom 1-story, how am I going to do that? My spouse not feeling so well lately, and, she need my help. And, one person, I can clean this house, fix this, and, make that good for photos. And then we have showing every weekends. That's going to turn our life upside down,
I mean, you had that with one of your last houses you listed where you had one of the individuals who had health issues.
Yes.
And so they didn't want to leave to accommodate a potential buyer coming in to look at the house.
Right.
So,
And so where, the cash offers, I am able to get, with my investors, and I offer my sellers who wants to downsize, in this scenario, is that I can offer them, if your situation is, I can't clean the house, I just want to sell the house.
right.
And I need to move, and I want to move in the time that I need to move. I need to find a house first, because that's not easy when you sell a house and then buy a house and close them both at the same time.
Right. That's right.
So that's like,
Timing
and
is
sometimes it's
difficult.
impossible because a lot of times things fall apart.
Right.
So in that scenario, I offer cash offer to the seller.
Okay.
If that fits their needs.
So what's that cash offer based on?
So the cash offer would be, you can sell your house today. We'll take an appraiser. We
So
send in
you'll
an
do
appraiser.
a full appraisal.
Full price cash offer
So whatever that house appraises at, you'll offer them that amount.
in cash. Yes, with a convenient
And
fee.
it's as is.
We offer I don't want to say as is,
Okay.
but I want to say you don't have to lift a finger. It's more than as is what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's not as
It's more
is.
than that.
Right.
All right.
Because when I come in and offer you cash offer and you say, okay, that's good for me, let me take the cash offer. You don't have to do anything. There's no doorknob you have to change. You don't have to touch up anything.
Sure.
Not a nail hole on the wall, just the way it is. Figure it out. All you got to do is figure out what you want to take with you when we go find you that smaller home that
Okay.
you're going to downsize to.
All right.
Okay. And I will walk through the process of how we navigate all of the process. And then you tell me when you're ready to move. Oh, I got to wait until my kids come home from Europe and they can help me move into the new home. Okay, when is that? 30 days, 60 days? Okay, fine. We put it under contract and then we accommodate that for you. Take all the stress, out of your life and make it possible.
So you could do a cash offer and someone could say, I need 90 days. And so you'd work out an
agreement.
arrangement,
Mhm.
agreement, and they could stay in their house,
Yep.
get things sorted and ready, and take their time, buy their new place, rent their new place, do whatever they need. And their life is now set, it's managed, it's simplified.
Yep.
Okay. That's a good offer.
And it is I'm so excited about it because, imagine me going to, a client and said, and tell, I've had situation before this offer is available. I have clients tell me that, I really want to move, Trang, but, for me to get up with my legs the way it is, my health, I can't move all of these things.
Right.
Even
Right.
having mover, you still got to get up and look through the boxes to see what you're going to get rid of, what you're not, and what you're keeping. So it does take that stress, off of the seller.
Okay.
And then they can cash out, and they have the cash already. So now it's very easy for them to go pick up another
To
home.
go do the next step,
Right.
whatever that is. Buy new.
Right. And if they don't want to sell it for cash, that's okay. I can list the house traditionally and walk them, put a timeline in place, put a process in place. I've done this, times and times again, where we sell a house and then we find a house in contingency buying that house.
So you do that. You list homes regularly for clients. So what are the kind of things you do when you sign a contract to sell someone's home?
Well,
Traditionally, not the cash offer, because that would be bundled, everything done. You get cash at an appraised value, and now we just a matter of setting when you move out. But a traditional listing is a little bit different, right?
Great question, and actually give me an idea. Like one day,
I should be a podcast show host.
Probably, great question. But one day I probably should do like behind the scene footage.
Yeah.
So that I can share with potential clients or homeowners that that want to know the process, what's behind the scene after we sign a contract.
Because there's a lot. There's a lot to do to get a home
That's
ready
a lot.
to list.
It's a lot. Yes. And which I come in and take the stress out of my seller.
Okay.
Right now, before I got here yesterday, actually, I was just finishing up a process of getting a house ready. We're going live tomorrow. I have a house in Summerlin A little bit over 1 mil.
Okay.
Beautiful home in Summerlin, lovely. Next to park and pickleball court, trails everywhere.
Okay.
Actually, it's pretty close to our home.
Okay.
Yes.
And then right by the pickleball courts.
Yes, that we play.
Okay.
Right. And so I just got all that prepped and taken beautiful photos, videos, footage for our marketing. So behind the scene, my seller actually happened to be out of state. He is a dentist.
Okay.
He lives in California, LA.
So it's an investment property? Or?
It is an investment property.
Okay.
He has been renting it for a little while now. And, he talks to me. He said, Joanne, I have 6 partners in this deal, and we have multiple properties. And I think it's time that we part ways and have our own portfolio.
Take some equity out of our investment.
Yeah. And then just kind of separate the partnership, and then they still want to be in the business of investing in Vegas,
Okay.
but they want to do their own portfolio. And I said, you come to the right person. I have
you
done
go.
this numbers of times.
So what was the process? So you got the contract executed. What are the steps? How long did it take from the time you signed the contract? We'll just go from that to sell to tomorrow when you list. What's that? 2 weeks?
So
3
depending
weeks?
on the home, so having that, depending on the condition of the home, of course, right? And what market price we are pricing in this case, is a traditional sale. We assess the value, the maximum values for my client's home. And that's what we're going to list at. Given the fact that the home, the age of the home, right? The neighborhood of the home and the condition of the home.
And comps and all those
Right.
things.
And then so the value of the home based on current data of what has been sold. There is a tricky component to that right now because the market shifted. So what has sold, let's say, if you go back comes 3 months, right?
Right.
So 3 months ago, a home exact model match has sold for X amount of dollars. Today, market shift, you might not get that as a come, although it will come. So you have a reasonable pricing, but then will that sell at the same price or not? I have that conversation with my seller and prepping him, set a stage of mind that we are in a turning market, that if we don't get this price, and here's why. We are in a shifting market.
Okay.
Not because your house is less desirable than the one that sold 3 months ago.
Just because of the market pressure.
Right.
So, but what are the steps that, so obviously that's an ongoing part of your commitment to
Yes.
them is to gauge the market. Number one, you want to try and price. It depends on how fast you want to sell. You're not going to sell an overpriced unit or property very fast. You're going to have to really work with the seller and make sure together you come up with that strategy. So then you physically now you got the listing.
Then I wear a different hat.
You wear the
I wear the management.
contractor.
Yes, I wear the contractor's hat at this time after the contract signed, managing. Workers or subcontractors are coming in to do XYZ items on our item list, and we have a process and timeline that we follow, so that we can be successful at the end of the transaction in a timely period, so that my seller is not wasting that time on the market, and not get the the goal that
So
they
you
want.
do whatever improvements you deem. You take a look at it with your eye and knowledge of the market, and you determine, because there's always something you could fix on a home.
Yeah.
There's a million things you
Of
could
course.
do. But you don't want to do things you don't need to do as a seller, and you want to do the things you have to do, because those are going to come back anyway.
So I call these items that you're mentioning a wow feature. So I want to make sure my sellers property have wow feature happening. Okay. And so when you have that, among other property, your chance of selling for the price you want a lot. Increases tremendously.
Okay. So you make sure through your network of contractors, professionals, everything from anything you need to fix, handyman or specialty electricians
from
to-
housekeeping coordination,
Okay.
Subcontractors, windows, have to be sparkling,
Okay.
all of that.
All right.
Clean and shiny driveway, you gotta have wow features.
Okay. So what's the typical time from time I sign contract to list to the time you actually put it up? What was the current products?
So
timeframe?
depending on the market as well. So right now, like home builders are not building a bunch of homes. So I'm able to get my contract in there a little faster.
Okay.
There were years where contractors are busy working for home builders. And I
Gotcha.
call them, hey, come and work on one home. And they're like, I'm so busy building these homes, right?
Yeah.
So that takes me a little longer. It used to be like a month or like up to a month. Now, this last, the property I mentioned, I gave it a 2 weeks period. And we finished, right before that.
Okay, so it was about 2 weeks from time they finally, not that you started talking to them probably
From the time
6
of
weeks
contract.
ago or 5 weeks ago.
Listing contract to, to get the house on the
But
market.
from listing to market, listing was
But that's
about
just the
2 weeks.
beginning. Once we have it
Oh, it's,
done, the marketing is where bread and butter is.
okay,
My marketing campaign is what will sell the house.
okay.
You
So
know,
what are some
the
of the
wow features in it.
Okay, so you'll start putting marketing commitments to that seller, that particular property, on social media, on print, on
So sometimes a seller come to me and they don't know me, right? They could be from California, like this one seller, but they give me their trust. So I want to give something back to them, in a partnership
Okay.
at this time, right? So I invest my own money, my own dollars into the marketing campaigns,
Okay.
marketing my seller's, property until it's sold,
Okay,
and I absorb that cost in
cost.
my business.
okay,
Because this is more like a partnership. You trust me to work with you, and I trust that
Okay.
you let me do my work, and I put my investment, not just my words to you, but my commitment in action, right?
all right.
In investing my resources, into doing this. And so I would, I do a lot of luxury homes, and luxury home market a little bit different. Let me just expand on that a little bit, why that is. Luxury home, it's particularly for, a certain income bracket. I can make an example. Let's say you do an open house and you have like 50 people come in. I don't know who qualifies for this
Sure.
home. I don't know their income.
Sure.
I don't know anything. I market it to, specific audience. So I research and I also pull, a list that have audience that are have history of their search, right? Looking for a certain type of home that have certain income.
Right.
And I market to them so that I myself pre-qualify, buyer pool that are coming or interacting with my listing,
All right.
right?
So
And
you
so
do
that's,
targeted marketing
yes.
and multiple
Multiple channels.
channels and approaches. Okay. So then you sell, then you go through the closing process, which could take another 3 to 4 weeks.
Once
right?
we have a purchase agreement with a buyer, generally depending on a cash offer or a buyer needed a lending. With a cash buy, usually 10-15 days
Okay.
as a short close escrow transaction. But if they need a loan, usually 30 to 40 days that we'll
Okay.
close on.
All right. Anything else you want to, highlight to our audience if they're soon to be buying or selling their home?
Sure. If you're a buyer out there, I work with a lot of great lender in Las Vegas, and that's a challenge for a lot of buyers. Sometimes they have to switch buyer in the
Switch
middle of
lenders
transaction,
in the middle.
which might cost a lot more money, and the stress for the buyers are tremendous.
Right.
If that happens, so it is very important. I'm not a lender, but you contact me, I can help you navigate and get you on the right track.
Pre-qualify. and
Pre-qualify
things like that.
and a good lender that can close,
Based
even
on their circumstance.
right,
Okay.
that have more creative programs sometimes,
Okay.
Help buyer navigate through a closing.
All right. What about for seller? Any kind of words of wisdom or quick tips for
For
the
seller, sure. For seller, if you're thinking of selling, especially if you're downsizing, call me, talk to me first, and let's get a plan together. Let's not go shopping and then, hey, I found a house I want to buy. Let's sell this house so I can downsize.
Right.
That's more. That's almost like you're doing it in reverse.
Okay.
Okay, and that would add a lot of stress to to your position as a seller.
It's kind of like a buyer that goes out and buys a brand new expensive car right before they want to buy their house. It's like,
Oh yeah,
don't do
yeah,
that.
we don't do that.
All right. So with that, we'll close out this episode. And again, if you're in the market, if you want to sell your home, downsize. If you're, pushing, my age, then you might want to go to a smaller home, which we did together. We went from my home in Scottsdale, which is 10,000 square feet under roof, to about 4,500 in Las Vegas. So makes sense. All the benefits she's talking about. The problem was it did take some time for me to sell the home. I had to clean it up. I lived neat, but I had to deal with a lot of people, not a lot of people, but a lot of qualified people coming through. So certainly makes it easy to take that cash offer and say, pay me on this date and I leave. So
That's right.
certainly something to consider if you're in my situation recently where I downsized because I just didn't need the size home I was living in. So, all right, lots of things to think about. The real estate market is transitioning. So if you're looking to buy or sell, you should talk to someone in the profession. And certainly Trang Hooser's one I would consider. So with that, thank you for joining me for this episode.
Thank you, my pleasure.
And you guys remember to write a review and or like us on whatever podcast platform you are receiving this podcast on. And we'll talk to you see you soon on a future episode.